So my brother departed. But then which brother? I left few brothers behind me. I had 3 brothers and 1 sister. I left them behind at home. But I wasn't the loser. I received hundreds and thousands of brothers and sisters all over the world. And that is also the case with all of you. So don't be reluctant or hesitant to leave the family behind, thinking you would be the loser. No, that's not the case. I could tell you all from my experience, I wasn't the loser. I gained so many. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada used to talk about these matters also. So, and I did not want to be attached to my family or few family members. So then what I did was I made them spiritual. I made them devotees, and then I continued my attachment with them, but then it was no more material attachment because they were all spiritual, and then that's normal. When I was born, my eldest brother was one who managed to write the birth date, my birth date. I think he managed to get a chalk, you understand, chalk, and on the wooden beam of the roof of my house, he wrote 5th July 1949. And his writing is still there, maintained. We have preserved, it has become archive. If you go to my birthplace or come to my birthplace in Aravade, you'll see that handwriting of my eldest brother. Yeah, I don't know where to begin or and how much to say. Anyway, my eldest brother wasn't the first one to become devotee or begin chanting Hare Krishna. In fact, there was another villager. He was the first one, took to the chanting. And then my uncle also joined. And as I had reported, after joining Hare Krishna movement, oh, that's another thing. My brother was the first one. Well, they're looking for me. I had left the place or little room that I was residing in, and I had joined Hare Krishna's This was in 72 after Hare Krishna festival at Juhu, Hare Krishna land. And so then my brother had come, leaving little village behind, come to Bombay, and they were searching, looking for me everywhere. And they finally ended up, my brother, and I think he had another villager with him at Hare Krishna land, Juhu. And well, he persuaded me to come back to the village. Yeah. Each one is an episode, so much you could talk about. So, and then I had come to village. I was meant to just visit the family and then go back. But once I was there, they were keeping me for longer and longer period. So finally, I did manage. I will not give you the details right now. Managed to return to Hare Krishna land. So after a few years, I joined Hare Krishnas. I came to village, and well, my president Giriraj Prabhu, he sent another brahmachari with me. I don't remember, maybe it was Navayogendra Prabhu, who became Navayogendra Maharaj. I think I had been coming every year for past 49 years. I had been doing, or I have done, the Hare Krishna festival in my village. So one villager, he was inspired to chant Japa, and I sent the whole report to Srila Prabhupada of the festival, how whole village joined me, and it was a grand festival. So I sent a report including that one person was now ready to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada, yeah, that's the point I wanted to make. Prabhupada said, make that villager a representative of ISKCON in your village. So this is how the idea of having ISKCON in Aravade, in my home village, came into being. And of course, the very first time I had visited, my eldest brother brought me to the village. They were proposing, no, we'll build temple for you in the village. Don't go back to Hare Krishna temple in Bombay. Stay here. So that is how the idea of having a temple in my village also had cropped up. My parents, of course, they did no schooling. They were illiterate. My sister, Sita Rani, so Anyways, I gradually ended up, well, I kept coming, and then we had a full-fledged ISKCON temple, Radha Gopal Ki, in the village. So, and before that, well, I'm just remembering, 86, no, it was, we meant to reach, our Padayatra party meant to reach 86 in Mayapur, but our Padayatra party that started from Dwarka arrived in my village. Padayatra meant to go through entire Maharashtra, so my village was covered also. And I entered my village with the driving bullock cart. My family, including my brother, they were all wanted me to see me becoming highly educated and maybe become, a big doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, or and then I had been saying this. They were expecting. That was the case with all Indians those days and these days also. But that one day I will return to my village riding on a motorbike. They couldn't even think of four-wheeler. They thought having a motorbike, but instead they saw me entering village with a big, huge party with driving the ox cart. So with that, their dreams were shattered. Hari Hari. In fact, Sita Rani was the first one. She lost her husband. She was quite young. We're talking about 80s. So she renounced. So by that time, I had temple in Pandharpur also. So she became full-time devotee in Pandharpur, and she was the first one. I was remembering yesterday also. I think there's a good chance that I became a initiating spiritual master in ISKCON in 86. That big Padayatra from Dwarka to Mayapur had reached Bengal, and our party was not far from Ishwar Puri's hometown. So near there we conducted initiations. Kalyani, a place called Kalyani. And so that's the first time I gave initiations. Just yesterday, I was also in Bengal, interior. I left Mayapur, and we had big festivals, and again I conducted initiations yesterday. So that was like on the anniversary of my first time ever giving initiations. So that's reminding me of these initiations, as I did one initiation yesterday in same Bengal. So,
1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986. 1986
So Sita Rani, as we had now, ISKCON Pandharpur, she joined full time, and I initiated her. She was the first one to be initiated, and then and she was number 2, eldest brother, Dharmavatara. He had a different name, Dhondi Ram. His name was like a Ram, and he was, and we all children were children of Bhagavan. My father's name was Bhagavan, so we are children of Bhagavan. And his father, my grandfather, name was Savala, Kala Savala. This is again Krishna. Krishna's one name is Savala. And as I was born on, my brother had written, he had written also Mangalvar was Tuesday, and that being the day of, Lord Ram appeared on Tuesday also. Krishna appeared on Wednesday. Whenever he appeared, that was Wednesday, and Ram appeared in Treta Yuga on Tuesday. I took birth on Tuesday, so my family gave me the name Raghunath. So my name then was Raghunath Bhagavan Savala Patil, like the whole series of names you could say. I don't even remember or know. And I'm sure my grandfather's father also had a name like that. So Sita Rani was the first one to be initiated, and then my brother number 2, he was initiated in Aravade, my home village itself. And then Dharmavatara Prabhu, his name was Dhondi Ram, and I named him Dharmavatara, which is the name of Yudhishthira Maharaj. He was also eldest amongst the Pandavas, and we were also 5 of us. Of course, one of them was sister, so I named him Dharmavatara, or as if Dharma has advented. Or Yudhishthira Maharaj, he had qualities like Yudhishthira Maharaj, I could say. Hari Hari. And then my little brother, he was also initiated. He was the last one to be initiated. He was the last one in the family to be born, so he was the last one also to be initiated. And I gave him name Ramdas. My name was Raghunath, which is Ram's name, so Srila Prabhupada took that name away, and I was made Lokanath. I was no more Raghunath or Ramdas, so I named my youngest brother Ramdas. So my eldest brother Dharmavatara, he was educated. Well, he did 7th. he passed 7th grade and then he dropped out. But that was considered those days, hey, he's a 7th grade, he has passed 7th grade, Satvi Pariksha. So, and he had a certificate now in our home. It was all framed. Now we have PhD and this one and that one, and then the certificates go up. But those days, 7th grade passed, that was a big thing, 7th grade. My source of inspiration, you may, or my friend, guide, philosopher was my eldest brother. My father being, well, not educated. Of course, he also was in his own capacity and his own ways. Of course, he inspired me. He was the one. He used to go walking on pilgrimage to Pandharpur, and we used to wait in the village for, well, my father also. Others also would go. Other children's parents or fathers would go. So we all would be waiting for our parents to return, our fathers to return. So that was a tradition. Our parents, our fathers, they used to go walking Padayatra to Pandharpur, 100 kilometers in one go. And they used to take darshan, of course. How? By touching their head and hands to the lotus feet of Panduranga, Panduranga. So when such pilgrims would return to the village, whole village would be waiting to take darshan of those who had taken darshan of Panduranga, or touch their feet. They had just touched Lord's lotus feet, so the villagers would be waiting, and in every village, of course, they would be waiting. And of course, as a children, we were waiting more for prasadam more than anything else. So my father also was source of inspiration for me. And mother also, anyway, like that. They're all great souls, my parents. So then my father departed. The brother who was kind of already playing that role of leading and guiding the family. So he was playing that role of being a fatherly figure. And so when the idea of building temple in village came up, Then my brother, he was the first one to donate a piece of land where we would build the temple. And he took a leading role, in fact, in building the temple, for which he traveled all over, meeting all the relatives and friends and friend circles and raising funds for building Radha Gopal temple. So, and finally the temple was opened, and well, so by now my brothers, including eldest brother, they were all initiated, and then especially eldest brother, Dharmavatara Prabhu, he became part of that temple management, and he was, while still managing the family affairs, and he was broad-minded. Well, he was also head of the village one time, the head of the village administration. He also had other posts. He was a member of Panchayat, Tehsil, which consists of hundreds of villages. And of course, he was certainly head of the joint family, and he had was a broad-minded and taking care of all the family members, inspiring them. I mean, we were just, started with truth. Well, okay, 5 of us. I took, of course, sannyas, and my sister was married elsewhere. So 3 brothers. So one time we were just 3, 4, 5 of us. But now the family grew in size, and now there are 30, 40 members of the family, children and grandchildren. And Dharmavatara Prabhu, he managed all the affairs of the family, and or even affairs of my brother number 2, his family, brother number 4 family, and which is a very difficult task in this day and age, or to find broad-minded personalities. Yeah, so as he had now also become devotee of Krishna, so this is then becomes very natural. Udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. You become magnanimous or broad-minded, and you consider, of course, everybody on this planet is part of my family. If you are not thinking like that, then you are lacking in Krishna consciousness. So his big family was his family. The whole village was my brother's family, and like that. So he was having lots of responsible roles in temples. He was always concerned and always communicating with me. Oh, number of devotees is less now, Maharaj, and do something. The Krishna, Tattva Darshan, maintenance, we have dioramas there, and the maintenance of the garden in the front, like that. He was very deeply involved, spiritually, emotionally, with all aspects of the temple, and then he took initiative in starting Food for Life, or free prasad distribution, for which he was raising funds and making sure really. So one of my previous visits, he had come to see me in Pandharpur, and he was very much concerned about the continuation of this prasad distribution, because he was thinking that, well, he had to think like that. He was in his 80s, I think he was 87. So he wanted to make sure this Food for Life continues after his departure as well. So we discussed the whole proposal, and he had a proposed, and so we made sure. What we did was we asked Dharmavatara Prabhu's son, who also has now become initiated disciple, to take charge or head up that Food for Life program. Then Dharmavatara Prabhu felt kind of relieved as we discussed and resolved the matters of the Food for Life program at ISKCON Aravade. So welfare of ISKCON in Aravade was his major concern, along with the family, welfare of the family, and of course it was a big thing for bigger brother to surrender into a little brother, but he did so by becoming my disciple. He had been my guide, superior guide, philosopher, friend, but then he humbled himself and became my disciple, as other brothers also and sister did the same thing. But although he was my disciple and supposed to be spiritually junior to me, he had a vatsalya for me. He was like my father figure, or in place of father. He had been playing that role and always concerned. So that continued. So we had this kind of two roles. He was junior to me as my disciple, but he was also senior to me as my eldest brother and caretaker and whatnot. So he would always, he had a personal connection. He always wanted to talk to me directly. He never wanted anyone else in the middle. And he had my personal phone number, and he was free to call me anytime, every time. He had to report or some complaints, or this has to be improved, that has to be improved. Including he used to get on my case for not doing this, not doing that. And always insisting for past several years more than ever before, as he was getting older and older. And insisting that I visit the village, visit the temple. But he had personal interest that he wanted me to visit him, see him, meet him. And so he used to be the first one to greet me in the village. And whenever there was a time for me to now leave ISKCON Aravade, travel on, so I used to see past several visits that he used to be in tears. And I could read his mind, thinking that possibly that visit could be the last one.